Clear polycarbonate housings. Linear switch with a uniquely smooth typing experience. Great. Oh wait, hang on a sec. Yeah, that was the wrong switch, sorry. Let's start that over. Clear polycarbonate housings. Linear switch with a uniquely smooth typing experience. Great RGB support. A bouncy bottom-out feel. Let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and this here is the Gateron North Pole V2 linear switch. So at first glance, it's really easy to write this off as an incremental upgrade, because look at it. You can barely tell the difference between the new one and the old one. But one of the things that's new with these V2s is this yellow dot on the bottom. You won't find these on the original North Poles. This yellow thing, believe it or not, gives the V2 North Poles a brand new sound signature. This dot is a dampening pad of some sort made up of silicone, so when you press all the way down, you'll end up with this muted and bassy sound profile. To demonstrate, here's a quick sound comparison between the V1 and V2 North Poles. So with regards to the bottom-out sound, the V1s are noticeably higher pitched than the V2s, which feel relatively more subdued. In fact, with these V2s, the North Poles now belong to a new category of switches that the original ones did not belong to, and that is being a semi-silent switch. So these switches make virtually no noise when you press down, but it does make noise when you let go. It's semi-silent in the sense that, whereas normal switches produce sound both on the way down and on the way up, this one only produces sound on the way up. With these North Poles, when bottoming out, it is like really deep, very bassy, and pretty much silent. On the upstroke, it is relatively high-pitched, which is pretty characteristic of polycarbonate housings. Overall, the sound profile is kind of poppy, like when you are popping plastic wrap or something like that. And now, a quick word from the sitting president of the United States.
Back in my day, there was no shopping online. I'd go to the general store, and I'd try out things myself before I decided, hey, I want this or that. It sucks that all you pipsqueaks can't do that anymore. Well, that's until I heard of Milktooth's try-at-home program for keyboard switches. Now ain't that cool? Now you can return to the good old days and try things before you buy them. In this case, mechanical keyboard switches. Milktooth offers a unique try-at-home program where you can pick 5 switches which they will then ship to your home. Once you receive those switches, you have 5 days to try them out. Then just slap on the included return label, drop it off at your nearest post office, and you are good to go. If you are new to keyboards, check out Milktooth at milktooth.new.
Some aspects of the typing feel are also new. When typing on the original V1 North Poles, you'll find their bottom out is definitely more rigid. This is no longer the case with the V2s. And this goes back to these yellow dampening pads. When you bottom out on these switches, since there are these dampening pads on the bottom, it's going to feel more cushioned. So I've mentioned all these new things about the V2 North Poles, from the typing feel, to the yellow dot on the bottom, to the sound profile. Everything seems to be new but the name. So why stick with this North Pole moniker? To answer that, we have to take a step back real quick. Smoothness is one of those ideal qualities of a linear switch, but this smoothness can come in different forms. When typing on some linear switches, you'll find this frictionless, gliding smoothness that you get from a super clean ice rink. And these North Poles aren't that, but that's not to say that they're not smooth. There's some factory lube applied on the stem, so smoothness isn't the issue. Typing on these kind of remind me of stretching a somewhat tight rubber band. One reason this is because the North Poles have a 65-gram bottom out, which makes it heavier than 3/4 of switches out there. I'd put this bottom out in the medium-heavy weight category. In other words, typing on these North Poles feel pretty elastic. I think the best way I can explain this is through food. The type feel kind of reminds me of chewing on those tapioca pearls you find in boba drinks, or these rice cakes, which are super soft and starchy, or any gummy candy like gummy bears or gummy worms. What I'm trying to say is, these North Poles have a certain chewiness to them. So as you can tell, Gateron has created a very specific expression of smoothness with these North Poles. And so what the original North Poles and these new ones, the V2s, have in common is this chewy typing experience. Gateron's claim is that the V2s are smoother than the V1s, but I don't think Gateron is being very precise with its language there. So I would modify Gateron's assertion and say that the V2s are indeed an improvement in providing a more gummier or chewier typing feel. In other words, I view the V2s as Gateron's attempt to enhance the V1's chewiness or gumminess, not just smoothness. This makes more sense to me, since the original ones and these new ones are both smooth, so that wasn't really the issue at hand, especially now that there is a bouncy bottom out on these V2s. Everything about these new North Poles really exemplify chewiness and gumminess. These switches also perform well with RGB lighting. It has these light poles, or these plastic parts that diffuse light. They're solid. They definitely do their job of making your RGB brighter. So for comparison's sake, I got these flame red linear switches here. The light poles on the flame reds are a little more advanced. They protrude out of the bottom of the switch, so they actually touch the light on your PCB. So in comparison, the North Pole's peak brightness aren't as bright as the flame reds. However, the North Poles have a fully transparent housing, so when you turn on RGB, it glows a little more. So the North Pole's RGB are certainly no slouch. Lastly, the North Poles are north-facing compatible with cherry profile keycaps, so no interference if you're using GMK keycaps on a north-facing PCB. So that is everything new with the Gateron North Pole V2s. A lot of changes across the board, while maintaining the essence of its predecessor. If you like gummy, then these are the switches for you. Try them yourself to see if they're a good fit. As usual, link in the description. Also, if you found the North Poles to be interesting, the JWIC semi-silence might also be interesting to you. In some ways, these are like the exact inverse of the North Poles. The North Poles make no noise on the way down, but make noise on the way up, and the semi-silence make noise on the way down, but make no noise on the way up. So if you're looking for a different take on a type feel that preserves the semi-silent sound signature of these North Poles, you can take a look at that video. Anyway, that's been it. Thanks for watching, and here's the full sound test of these North Pole V2 switches.